Hello friends, welcome to this week's visual art tutorial. I'm Mr. Nikolay, and this week we are going to try and understand the element of art, space. Space is a very tricky one, and a lot of the times the first thing that came to my mind when I was learning about space was space. Space like the universe, space, the stars, space, the spiral galaxy, space, the asteroids and the rockets. That's what I thought space meant. And that meant to me I needed to learn how to draw space. But that wasn't it. What space really means, it's talking about how to create space in your artwork. And a lot of the times when I draw a few lines, I still look between the lines, the space between the lines, as you can see here, and I'm trying to understand, well, how can I use my space to make my image stand out stronger? And one way to do it is I can fill in the space inside my shape and it will look much better. This is called positive space if you fill in a shape. If you fill in the shape around an object, that is also called negative space, as you can see here. So those are two ways artists can learn about space as an element of art. Is thinking about the space within an object and the space around an object. But there are several other ways you can learn about space. This one shows you how you can use space by overlapping shapes. For example, here's a circle. Now if I overlap or bring another circle on top of that circle, I am also thinking about how I use space within my artwork. So this is referred to as overlapping. And another way we can use space in an artwork is by doing something called placement. So I can place my shapes in a different area within my artwork. And I can also reduce the size of my shapes, as you can see here. And I can also make my shapes smaller and bigger. This will create the illusion that there is distance or perspective in my artwork. And sometimes we call that foreshortening. Foreshortening is when objects that are far away from you appear smaller and objects that are closer to you appear bigger. Okay, so now let me guide you through this week's Seesaw activity, and I will explain to you in detail how to create the illusion of space. So let's go and have a look. Click on the Add Response button. Once you do that, you'll be guided to this page. The first thing you see is you will notice a background picture of a billiard, or otherwise known as a pool table. You will notice a cue stick and you will notice a white ball. The rest of the table is empty. On the right hand side here you can see different color billiard backgrounds you might want to choose, and I'll explain to you how to do that later, and lots of different color balls that we are going to bring into this picture. To start using and creating the artwork, you need to make sure you select this tool, the hand selection tool. You will not use these other tools. Please do not use these tools, only use this tool. So once you have selected this tool, you can now start bringing balls into your picture. So I'm just going to randomly pick any color and drag it in front here. Now, the whole idea is I want this ball to look like it's far away from me. So I'm going to put it all the way to the back of the table, maybe right there. Now, because this ball is far away from me, it should be smaller in reality. It cannot be this big. Now, if this ball was far away from me and if it was this big, it wouldn't make sense. It doesn't look like there's an illusion of space. So I really need to make sure this ball is small because it's far away from me. So I'm happy to put my ball there. Now I can see that there's an illusion of distance or space within this artwork. One thing that's missing for this ball is a drop shadow. That's where you click here on the drop shadow. Click on the three dots and duplicate to make a copy of a shadow. So now we're going to drag this shadow over here, scale it down to fit the size of the ball like that, and put it right underneath the ball, like almost as if it's touching the ball. Now we need to make sure we bring the ball in front of the shadow. So click on the ball, click on the three dots, go select order, and then bring to front. So now that looks very realistic. However, if it didn't have the shadow, it wouldn't look realistic. without the drop shadow. So make sure that you bring a drop shadow for every ball. Just as the white ball has a drop shadow, you can see it there. Okay, if I remove the drop shadow from the white ball, for example here, it wouldn't really look realistic. It looks like the ball is floating and it doesn't belong to this space. So that's why we need to make sure the shadow is there. So now they'll look like they belong to each other. So now let's bring another ball, and this time I'm going to put this one in the middle. Now because this ball is lower than the brown ball, it should be bigger than the brown ball but smaller than the white ball. So I'm going to put it like it's medium, somewhere in between. Let's just drag it over here to this side. So it's a little bit bigger. Once again, give it a drop shadow, duplicate it to make a copy, drag that over, scale it down. When you're scaling down, make sure you're using the corner handles, not these handles, because this stretches the shadow. And you also do not want to use this handle because it makes the shadow too thin. So just make sure the shadow is not too big or fat. Put it under the ball, bring the ball to the front. Okay, that looks really good. Now I'm going to speed this up and just lay all the balls on the table, and let's see what it looks like. So have fun with that. Okay, now I've decided to bring this metallic ball, looks like aluminum or steel, in front of my white ball. Now notice that it's not in front of my white ball. Now because it's in front of my white ball, it should be bigger than the white ball because it's the closest to me. So I'm going to bring it right there. But now it's not really in front of the ball, so I need to click on the three dots and bring it to the front. So that looks much better. So now I can decide, do I want this ball to be right here? So just to create the illusion of distance or space, it's good to bring one ball in front of the white ball, and maybe I'll move it over to the side and overlap it maybe over the pink ball, and I'll bring it a drop shadow just like that so it looks more realistic. Bring the ball to the front again. Okay, that looks really nice. Okay, I'm gonna add the rest of the balls in and have fun with that. So that looks really good. Now let's just maybe add a few more colors. Leave the pink ball here, just in between. Bring that ball to the front of the one behind. Give it a drop shadow. Scale it down so it matches the size of that ball. Not too big, not too small. Go back, bring the ball to the front. Now the shadow is covering the white ball. It doesn't make sense. I gotta bring the white ball to the front again. Then I have to bring the cue stick to the front again. So you need to sort of make sure you do those things if the ball is in between them. So now I've made this game really challenging. If the player hits the white ball, it will definitely hit the orange ball. That will bounce off and hit the green ball or the blue ball and the pink ball, and then the red ball will go in the hole. So it's very difficult for the player to play the game because I've crowded up the table. So you can have fun and add the other balls in your billiard table. Maybe I'll put this one here just because it needs, I can just duplicate another shadow from another ball, so I don't have to rescale it again. I do need to scale it down a bit and bring this ball to the front. So that, I'm pretty happy with that. So just keep checking to make sure that your shadow isn't in front of another ball, and so forth and so on. So this is really good. Now let's say, for example, you want to change the background. Let's say you don't want the blue background. So no problem. Click on the blue background. If you don't like it, scale it down like this. Notice that everything just goes white. Move it down to the side. I like to move it down, so just keep it organized. And let's say you want to choose another background. Let's say, I don't know, green. Because you know some billiard tables are green, some of them are blue, but we can be creative, and I want to match this so it fits. Excellent. So that looks really cool. See, I just changed my background. Once again, you can try another color background if you're not happy with the green one. So keep practicing and trying different colors. Let's say, hey, let's make it yellow and bright. Yellow is a happy color, so let's see what that looks like. Whoa, a yellow table. I don't know. Maybe I'll prefer something darker. So let me try again. So you can here choose what sort of color table you want to show. And let's say once you're happy with your, let's try purple. Okay, that looks good too. So I can just choose any background. Let's say I'm happy with this color. I don't have to use all the balls. You can if you want to, but now what I've done is I've used these elements and I've created the illusion of space in my artwork by telling the viewer that things that are closer to me are bigger, objects that are far away from me are smaller. I hope you learned something, and please make sure that when you are done that you click the check. That's now being uploaded, and now your work is there in Seesaw. Now, I hope you understand more what space means as an element of art and how artists use space to create really strong works of art. I would like you to engage with the Seesaw activity and try to make a different artwork using the objects that are in the activity and create the illusion of space. Have a great week, and I look forward to seeing your creations. Bye for now!